On this episode of See Indonesia, we're exploring Pontianak, the waterfront city in the middle of the globe, where we'll dive into the city's legendary coffee shops, learn to play a traditional dayak string instrument, and scour the mighty Kapuas River in search of the region's native wildlife.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
See Indonesia.
The sprawling city of Pontianak is one of the most fascinating places in Indonesia. There are many things that one can consider as uniquely Pontianak. But if you ask a local what makes their city stand out, they'll probably say it's the coffee.
Alright, so it's now 6 a.m. in the morning here in Pontianak. Yep, 6 a.m. Now maybe you're wondering why I'm up so early. Well, I'm here to visit one of the icons of Pontianak, which is Warung Kopi Asyang. Now this is a place that is known to serve the best coffee in the city, but it's also known for another thing, which is the owner's very peculiar sense of fashion. So we're gonna come in here, freshen up ourselves with a good cup of joe, and also maybe figure out why the owner is not wearing a shirt. Go.
This Pontianak institution has been around since 1958 and is wholly family owned. The current owner and chief barista is Johannes Fendi, or otherwise known as Ko Asyang. So before I got my morning coffee, I went to chat with the man himself and asked him why he chose to go with this particular look.
Dari kapan Ko Asyang bikin kopi?
Kalau dari orang tua sih udah hampir 70 tahun.
Jadi mulainya dari orang tuanya?
Dari orang tua. Kalau saya sendiri udah
40 tahun. Dari dulu nggak pakai baju? Begitu?
Enggak. Papa pakai baju kaos.
Terus kapan mulainya ciri khas nggak pakai bajunya?
Ada 10 tahun lebih lah.
10 tahun?
15 tahun gitu. Supaya orang dapat kesan gitu ya. Cari ini orang yang mana? Kopi Pontianak tuh ada yang kopi yang enak, kopi yang mana? Itulah.
This man's a marketing genius, and it looks like his strategy is working. And you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The locals say that Ko Asyang doesn't put on a shirt under any circumstances when he's working behind the counter. Not even when famous politicians or public figures come by.
Okay. Yeah, makasih Mbak. Alright, so we just got our kopi susu. So the initial idea was to get here before the crowds came, but they came in first. I mean, coffee culture is huge here in Pontianak, as you can imagine. It's a big part of their Malay culture. And you can see the guy behind me who's making the coffee is right there. And as per usual, as we expected, he didn't have his shirt on. Which is exactly what we were looking for. So let's try this cup of joe and see what the whole hubbub is about. Now, I'm not much of a coffee guy, but that is a good cup of joe. Very smooth, just sweet enough. It's not like a milkshake kind of sweet, but it's nice and smooth and refreshing, especially in such an early morning such as this. And of course, coming here, you've got your choice of snacks as well. Thankfully, they got my favorite, which is srikaya bread. Pairs great with coffee, as you can see. So if you want a little bit more sweetness in the morning routine here, grab a pair of this. Dip it in the coffee. Yeah. If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. Cheers.
In Pontianak, they know how to start the day right. But coffee shops aren't the only thing that the city is known for. So after having my daily dose of caffeine, I'm off to see what put this city on the map, literally.
So Pontianak is known as Equator City. And that's because the equator runs straight through the city and it's marked by that monument, built all the way back in 1928. So the monument that you see right there is actually just a replica of the actual smaller monument, which is located inside. But actually, in reality, the equator in recent years have shifted further south. So it's actually way back there where the actual point is.
This giant replica of the original Equator Monument was built back in 1991. It was built to protect the original monument, which still stands in its original spot inside the replica. The monument is open from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and it's completely free if you want to learn more about its history. When we visited, we were joined by Miss Tika, one of the museum guides.
Di garis ini, inilah dia pembatasan garisnya, garis khatulistiwanya yang ini. Sepanjang garis ini adalah 0 derajat ataupun garis pembelahan bumi antara utara dengan selatan. Di mana utara selatannya? Kan di lingkaran monumen itu ada tanda panah itu menunjukkan ke utara, ekor panah itu menunjukkan selatan. Kalau yang di bawah ini yang tandanya yang garis putih ini, di garis putih ini adalah garis khatulistiwa, timur barat. Lintangnya selatan dan utara. Tugu yang asli ini bahannya terbuat dari kayu ulin ataupun kayu belian, ya.
The monument and the line hasn't exactly been accurate since 2005, which was when the Agency for the Assessment and Application of Technology calculated that the equator has moved around 100 meters south of the monument. Now, there's this globe-shaped monument marking the new point. During the sun's culmination, which happens twice a year in March and September, if you stand near the 0-degree point, you'll notice this fascinating phenomenon where anything and anyone within the vicinity won't cast a shadow. It's a big deal for the locals, and the city usually makes a big event out of it. Pontianak still has a lot more to show me, and after the break, we'll get cultured by visiting Pontianak's gargantuan replica of a traditional tribal longhouse to learn the ancient musical arts of the dayak.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Pontianak and West Kalimantan as a whole are a diverse region with many ethnic groups calling it home. But one particular ethnic group has come to define Pontianak's identity. I am of course talking about the true native people of Kalimantan, the Dayak.
So right now, I'm at the West Kalimantan Rumah Radang here in Pontianak. Now, this building right here is a replica of a traditional Dayak tribal hall. Now, the Dayak call this tribal hall with many different names. Some call it a rumah panjang, some call it a rumah radang, some call it rumah betang. But in the end, they all serve the same purpose, and that is as a home for multiple families in a single Dayak tribe. Traditional Dayak houses aren't normally like as tall as this one or as big as this one, but it is as long, sometimes even longer. So you can imagine just how many families fit in one single rumah radang.
To get up to the tribal hall, I'll need to climb up these giant logs turned makeshift stairs. These Dayak longhouses are propped high up above ground level to protect the inhabitants from predators and rival tribes. Some longhouses even bring up these giant logs during the night to prevent outsiders from sneaking in. This replica, built by the city government in 2013, measures at 138 meters long and 7 meters high. Though some traditional Dayak longhouses have reportedly measured up to 300 meters long, accommodating 60 families. It basically functions the same as a modern apartment building, which is very forward-thinking of the Dayak.
Agus.
The person I'm meeting with today is Agus Ken Frankie, a Dayak tribesman and professional musician. Agus's instrument of choice is the traditional Dayak musical instrument, the sape, a wooden string instrument dating back to the 8th century. It's bulkier and a bit more challenging to wield than a guitar, but produces a very melodious and gentle tone.
Kalau secara budaya, sape ini musik yang dimainkan sape biasanya dimainkan saat kapan saja, apakah upacara atau bagaimana ya?
Dalam perkawinan biasa bermain sape. Terus kalau upacara itu dimainkan pada saat memang zaman dulu mereka berangkat mengayau. Berangkat pergi mengayau. Sebenarnya kalau dari nada, sape ini bermacam-macam sih. Tergantung kita mendengar nuansanya untuk lari kemana gitu. Misalnya kita bermain macam mungkin orang yang mendengarnya, oh nadanya ini sepertinya romantis gitu. Tapi ada juga yang mendengarnya mungkin karena keadaan hatinya memang lagi merasa sedih, bisa saja dia merasa sedih dengan alunan itu gitu.
Mungkin Bang Agus bisa ajarin saya kali ini main
Bisa,
sape ya?
aman.
Oke.
The term sape actually means 3, which refers to the number of strings that a sape traditionally has. However, Agus's sape has more than 3 strings because it's been modified to suit more modern styles of music. Back in the old days, the strings of the sape were made from palm tree fibers, but many of them now use pretty much the same strings as you'd find in a guitar, which personally lends some familiarity to me. However, the sheer girth still requires some getting used to.
Bener. Okay, it took me a while to learn that very simple melody, but we got there eventually. I do have some experience in playing the guitar, but it's a whole different instrument, even though it's still stringed. A lot of things to learn, of course, and I'm eager to learn more about it. It's a beautiful instrument, it's a beautiful form of music, and it's a beautiful culture, and well, I actually still want to learn more. So luckily I still have Bang Agus. So let's learn some more, yeah?
Okay.
The Dayak people are truly one of a kind, and it's great to see that individuals like Agus are continuing their people's age-old traditions, values, and art forms, while still finding ways to make it accessible to a modern crowd. Pontianak is known for a lot of things, but I have to admit, when it comes to Pontianak cuisine, I'm drawing a blank. Luckily, some friends in the city came through for me and gave me some recommendations. One of the signature dishes of the city, which you'll have a hard time finding anywhere else, is bubur pedas.
Yeah, kasih Kak. Alrighty, so we've got a bowl of bubur pedas, right? The famous bubur pedas Pak Ngah. And bubur pedas itself is a very traditional Malay dish that is specific to several cities in West Kalimantan, Pontianak included, and different from the regular porridge that you'd often see here in Indonesia. Bubur pedas usually has a lot more greens, a lot more vegetables. I see some bean sprouts over here too. And bubur pedas does translate to spicy forage, but the spice itself doesn't come from chilies. It comes from the pepper that is mixed in with the porridge. So I'm just gonna dig right in. They also provide some peanuts and some tiny salted fish to go along with the porridge. So I'm gonna dig right in and tell you guys what I think. There's a very refreshing, almost minty taste to it, and it doesn't feel as heavy because of all the vegetables here, so it does feel like a really healthy dish. And it's not that spicy, you know? It's a good kind of like heat, but again, it's a peppery heat, not a chili heat, which I prefer, to be honest.
Bubur pedas originated from the Sambas region of West Kalimantan, and the pedas in the name isn't the Indonesian word, but rather a Malay expression referring to the multitude of herbs and spices incorporated into the porridge.
So it's good timing actually that we came here when we did, because it's raining out and it's really cold, but this stuff heats you. This stuff heats you right up. So if it's a really cold day out, this is definitely a good dish to try out.
I've got one last thing on my Pontianak bucket list before I leave. And that's to scour the swamps in the mouth of the kapuas in search of the region's rarest creatures. Make sure you stay tuned for this one.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
The Kapuas River, stretching over 1,000 kilometers, is the longest river in Indonesia. It connects Pontianak to the South China Sea, essentially linking the city to the rest of the world. This river has played a significant role in the expansion of several regional kingdoms in the past. But beyond that, it's also a home to a wide variety of flora and fauna, some of which are critically endangered. For the last thing on my bucket list in Pontianak, I want to head to the mouth of this great river and try my luck in spotting some of these rare creatures, specifically the elusive long-nosed monkey.
That's the Tanjung Intan Lighthouse. As you can tell, it's a pretty old one. I'm not exactly sure about the year it was built, but it was definitely somewhen during the colonial era. And as you can tell right now, we're in this swamp, and this is actually the mouth of the Kapuas River. Now, the river and its access to the Karimata Strait allows Pontianak to be the city that it is today. How it allows it to strive and become a big, bustling metropolis, so to speak.
The place I'm visiting now is Teluk Berdiri, or Berdiri Bay. As you'd expect from the coastline, this place is covered in mangrove trees, an essential component in preventing erosion. The locals also use materials from these plants to create some pretty nifty handicrafts. It's a pretty quiet and out-of-the-way spot. When I arrived in the early hours of the morning, not a soul was there, except for one friendly little black cat. If I wanted to spot some of the wild and exotic animals that inhabit this river, I need to go deeper, and for that, I'll need a boat. I met up with the head of the local village near the bay, Mas Adi, who agreed to let me tag along on his boat. And after I got set up with the proper safety gear, we were off.
Alright, so we're heading deeper into the swamp now. We just exited the mouth of the Kapuas River earlier. Great views, by the way. But now we're off to find something alive. So we're here, going deeper into the swamps. Lots of wildlife here. But what we really want to find is a long-nosed monkey, or proboscis monkey.
These forests are dense, and anything not hanging from trees or literally flying would be incredibly hard to spot. So I continued on, using my binoculars to the best of my ability. As we headed deeper into the river, we finally started seeing some signs of life, starting with a majestic lone eagle soaring in the sky. There were also some more ominous signs of wildlife, such as a sign warning us of crocodiles nearby. Being the savvy adventurers that we are, we immediately made a U-turn and headed far, far away from there.
We finally, after a while, finally got a glimpse of wildlife. It's a type of monkey, it's not the monkey we were looking for, but it is definitely something. There's lots and lots of wildlife out here. We just came in at not the best time because everyone's way deeper in the forest foraging, but they are there. Found some monkeys, there's an eagle. Obviously there's a lot of bugs, but if you come here at the right time, you're bound to see a lot more than what we're seeing right now. Well, just hope that you don't run into the crocodiles though, because they are also here.
After feeling satisfied with what we've seen from the river, we headed back to Teluk Berdiri for lunch with some authentic Malay dishes made from the river's freshest catch.
Alright, so after a long day at the river, we're now enjoying the spoils that are captured straight from that river, along with some of the locals, including Bang Adi over here, which was with us at the boat. So, Bang Adi, jadi ini apa aja nih makan-makan ini semua dapat dari sungai?
Jadi ini dari bahannya dari Desa Sungai Kupa. Ini dari tangkapan nelayan. Kalau kayak misalnya kayak ini ranjungan nih, ini lagi musim di Desa Sungai Kupa. Ini kayak ini ikan biji nangka. Jadi ikan biji nangka ini hasil tangkapan di kampung nelayan. Nah, kalau sayur ini sayur keladi. Sayur keladi di mana yang keladi ini bisa dimakan, dimasak asam pedas.
Jadi semuanya ini emang apa? Khas Melayu ya, Bang?
Iya. Ditambah lagi dengan kelapa yang langsung dari pohonnya tadi.
Asik.
Jadi baru beberapa jam kita udah bisa menikmatinya.
Favorit Bang Adi yang mana?
Pastilah sayur keladi.
Ya udah, kita langsung makan saja, Bang.
Siap.
So, with new experiences, new insights, and new friends, I'm leaving West Kalimantan more enriched than I was when I came here. Some places might have prettier sights or fancier food, but they can't beat the warmth, friendliness, and hospitality of the unique people of West Kalimantan. And that alone makes this trip one that I won't soon forget.